The massive council ship hung in Earth's orbit like a crystalline star, its iridescent hull reflecting sunlight in waves of blue and purple. Below, in the United Nations Assembly Hall, representatives from Earth's nations sat in tense silence as they awaited their first official meeting with the Galactic Council. The air shimmered as 5 tall figures materialized on the central platform. High Commander Reed, the lead representative, stood nearly 7 feet tall with silvery skin that seemed to ripple in the light. His 4 companions spread out behind him, each wearing what appeared to be ceremonial armor that hummed with barely contained energy. People of Earth, Reed's voice resonated through the hall, translated perfectly by their advanced technology. We welcome you to the greater galactic community. Your species has shown remarkable progress in achieving faster-than-light travel, marking you as ready for contact. In the front row, General Mike Thompson of the United Earth Defense Force shifted uncomfortably in his dress uniform. 20 years of military service hadn't prepared him for this moment. Beside him, Dr. Lisa Brown, Earth's leading weapons researcher, clutched her tablet tighter. Reed continued his speech, his tone becoming almost paternal. As is customary, we must assess your civilization's technological capabilities, particularly your military advancement. This will determine your status within the Council. The alien's eyes swept across the assembly, pausing briefly on the ceremonial honor guard with their rifles. A slight smile crossed his metallic features. I see you still employ projectile weapons. Most fascinating. One of Reed's companions, a weapons expert named Thomas, stepped forward. His translator conveyed a tone of barely concealed amusement. High Commander, these humans appear to still use chemical propellants to launch metal projectiles. How quaint. General Thompson rose to his feet, his voice steady despite his anger. With respect, our weapons have served us well for centuries. They're reliable, effective, and consistently lethal when needed. Thomas raised a hand, energy crackling between his fingers. Observed true military technology. A beam of pure light formed, consolidating into what appeared to be a rifle made of pure energy. This weapon can adjust its output from a mild stun to complete atomic dissolution. No primitive gunpowder required. Dr. Brown stood up next to Thompson, her scientific curiosity overcoming her initial hesitation. Impressive. But surely different tactical situations call for different approaches. Reed's laugh echoed through the chamber. My dear, once a civilization discovers energy weapons, they quickly abandon all other forms of combat technology. It is the natural progression. The other council members nodded in agreement, their expressions a mixture of condescension and pity. One of them whispered something that made the others chuckle, their translator devices tactfully not broadcasting the comment. General Thompson straightened his back, years of military discipline evident in his bearing. Then perhaps a demonstration is in order. We would be honored to showcase our military capabilities alongside yours. The council members exchanged glances before Reed responded. A demonstration. Yes, that might prove entertaining. We accept your proposal. In 3 Earth days, we will conduct a comparative weapons demonstration at our orbital facility. As the council members prepared to depart, Thomas couldn't resist one final comment. Do bring your best weapons, humans. It's not often we get to see living history in action. The assembly hall erupted in murmurs as the aliens disappeared in another shimmer of light. General Thompson turned to Dr. Brown, his expression grim but determined. They're underestimating us, Brown whispered, already making notes on her tablet. Thompson nodded slowly. That might be exactly what we need. Get me every major weapons manufacturer on the line. If they want to see what human ingenuity can do, we'll show them exactly why our primitive weapons have endured for so long. As they left the assembly hall, neither human noticed the small drone that had been observing the proceedings. High above Earth, in the council ship's tactical room, Reed watched the recordings with growing amusement. Such pride in obsolete technology, he mused to his companions. It will be a valuable lesson for them when they see true power in action. Little did the council know, They were about to learn some valuable lessons of their own about underestimating human military technology. The stage was set for a demonstration that would change the galaxy's understanding of warfare forever. 3 days after the initial meeting, Earth's military delegation arrived at the Council's orbital facility. The massive structure dwarfed anything humans had built in space, its curved halls stretching for miles in every direction. General Thompson led a small team of weapons experts through the station's gleaming corridors. Behind him, Dr. Brown supervised the careful transport of several large cases containing Earth's finest firearms. 4 other soldiers carried additional equipment, their expressions professional despite the curious stares from passing alien crew members. "Welcome to our testing facility." Thomas greeted them at the entrance to an enormous chamber. "We use this space to evaluate new weapon systems. The walls can withstand forces that would shatter a small moon." The chamber stretched at least 1 kilometer in length, with various target ranges set up at different distances. Energy weapons of all sizes lined one wall, each more elaborate than the last. Holographic displays showed detailed specifications that Dr. Brown immediately began studying. "Impressive," she admitted, though her attention was already turning to their own equipment. "Shall we begin with a technical overview of each weapon system?" High Commander Reed entered with several other council members, their formal robes flowing behind them. "Yes, please. Show us what you've brought to this assessment." Thompson nodded to his team. They opened the cases, revealing an array of human weapons ranging from standard-issue military rifles to advanced prototype systems. Dr. Brown stepped forward, lifting a conventional assault rifle. "This is our basic infantry weapon. It fires 5.56 millimeters rounds at projectiles." Thomas interrupted, not bothering to hide his disdain. "You actually brought projectile weapons to a modern combat assessment." Brown continued undeterred. "Yes, we also brought several other varieties. Different calibers, different purposes." She gestured to the other cases, everything from small arms to anti-material rifles. The council members exchanged amused glances. Reed stepped forward, activating a holographic display. "Perhaps we should show you what you're competing against. This is our standard peacekeeping weapon." The display showed a sleek rifle-like device that seemed to be made of flowing metal. It fires concentrated plasma bolts capable of penetrating any known armor. The energy shield it generates can deflect incoming fire, and it never needs reloading. "Most efficient," Thompson said diplomatically. "Though I notice you still shaped it like a rifle." "A concession to ergonomics," Thomas explained, "though the similarity ends there. Observe." He lifted one of the weapons from the wall and aimed at a target downrange. With a high-pitched whine, the weapon fired a bolt of blue energy that completely vaporized the target. "Zero recoil," Thomas added smugly. "Perfect accuracy. Adjustable output from stun to lethal. Your projectile weapons must seem like toys in comparison." Dr. Brown had been making notes throughout the demonstration. "Interesting. Would you mind if we ran some comparative tests? Different scenarios, different targets." "Of course," Reed agreed magnanimously. "Though I must warn you, our weapons have been perfected over thousands of years. Your demonstration may prove embarrassing." Thompson stepped forward. "We're willing to take that risk. Let's start with basic penetration tests, then move on to rapid fire, accuracy at range, and environmental factors." "Environmental factors?" Thomas asked. "Rain, dust, electronic interference, the usual battlefield conditions," Thompson explained. The council members laughed. Reed shook his head in amusement. "Our weapons function perfectly in all conditions. They're beyond such primitive concerns." "Then you won't mind demonstrating that," Brown said sweetly. "We brought some testing equipment to simulate various conditions." "Very well," Reed sighed. "Though I fail to see the point. Thomas, please set up the standard assessment course." As the aliens busied themselves with preparations, Thompson leaned close to Dr. Brown. "They're not even considering practical combat applications," he whispered. Brown nodded. They're so convinced of their superiority, they've forgotten the basics of warfare. This could get interesting. Just wait until we show them what happens when their energy shields meet good old-fashioned kinetic energy, Thompson replied with a slight smile. The stage was set for a demonstration that would shatter the Council's preconceptions about human military technology. They were about to learn that sometimes the simplest solutions were still the most effective. The testing chamber hummed with energy as the Council prepared their first demonstration. Thomas stood at the firing line, holding their standard plasma rifle with practiced ease. Behind him, a crowd of alien scientists and military officials had gathered to witness what they assumed would be a display of clear technological superiority. First test, basic target elimination, announced Reed. Standard combat distance, multiple target types. Thomas raised his weapon. Downrange, various targets materialized, some representing soldiers, others vehicles and fortifications. With fluid grace, he opened fire. Brilliant blue energy bolts streaked across the chamber, each shot finding its mark with perfect precision. Targets vaporized instantly, leaving nothing but wisps of ionized air. Perfect accuracy, Thomas declared. Zero recoil, no ammunition concerns, and complete target elimination. He turned to the human delegation with an expectant smile. Your turn. General Thompson stepped up to the line, carrying a standard military rifle. The council members whispered among themselves, clearly amused by the seemingly primitive weapon. Dr. Brown stood nearby, monitoring equipment that recorded every aspect of the tests. Same target layout, Thompson requested. The targets reappeared. What happened next wiped the smiles from the council members' faces. Thompson's rifle cracked sharply, each shot finding its mark with devastating effect. Instead of vaporizing, the targets showed realistic damage. Limb shots that would incapacitate, center mass hits that would kill, precise shots that penetrated weak points in simulated armor. Different effect, Thompson noted calmly, but equally lethal. Thomas frowned. But your weapon requires constant reloading, has significant recoil, and leaves the target mostly intact. Dr. Brown stepped forward. Sometimes leaving the target intact is the point. Dead enemies tell no tales, but wounded ones provide intelligence. Additionally, a wounded soldier requires others to help them, effectively taking multiple opponents out of the fight. And, interesting perspective, Reed admitted reluctantly. But surely you can't deny the superiority of our shield technology. Thompson smiled. Let's test that next. The council set up their most advanced personal shield system around a target. Thomas demonstrated how their energy weapons were deflected harmlessly away, the shield glowing brilliantly with each impact. Completely impenetrable, he declared proudly. Thompson picked up a different rifle, a larger caliber model. May I? Reed nodded indulgently. Thompson took aim and fired once. The bullet passed straight through the energy shield and destroyed the target behind it. A stunned silence fell over the chamber. How? Thomas stammered. That's impossible. Your shields are designed to stop energy weapons, Dr. Brown explained. They have no effect on good old-fashioned kinetic energy. Physics is physics, no matter how advanced your technology. The demonstration continued, with each test revealing new advantages of human weapons. They worked perfectly in simulated rain and dust storms, while the energy weapons suffered performance issues. They continued functioning under electronic warfare conditions that disrupted the more advanced targeting systems of Council weapons. But these are just basic rifles, Reed protested. Surely you have more advanced weapons. Thompson nodded to his team. They'd brought forward their final case, revealing a prototype railgun. We do have some more interesting toys, he said. The railgun's demonstration left even the most skeptical council members speechless. Its hypervelocity projectile didn't just penetrate their strongest shields. It went through multiple layers of their most advanced armor like they weren't even there. This is concerning, Reed admitted finally. We may have been hasty in our dismissal of your technology. Dr. Brown was already compiling her test results. Each weapon type has its advantages and disadvantages. Perhaps instead of competing, we should be thinking about how to combine our different approaches. The council members huddled together, speaking in hushed tones. When they turned back, their earlier condescension had been replaced with thoughtful consideration. "We would be interested in further demonstrations," Reed announced, "particularly in actual combat scenarios." Thompson and Brown exchanged knowing looks. The Council's understanding of warfare was about to undergo a significant revision, and humanity's place in the galactic community had just become much more interesting. "We'd be happy to continue," Thompson replied. "After all, we've barely scratched the surface of what human ingenuity can achieve." The Council's main research laboratory buzzed with frantic activity. After the weapons demonstration, teams of alien scientists worked around the clock analyzing the test results. Their pristine white lab coats swished as they moved between workstations, their previous confidence replaced by growing concern. Lead scientist Peter hunched over a microscope, examining a piece of armor that had been hit by one of the human bullets. Around him, holographic displays showed detailed analysis of the damage patterns. His hands trembled slightly as he made his report. "High Commander Reed, our findings are troubling," Peter said, not meeting the commander's eyes. "The humans' projectile weapons exploit a fundamental weakness in our defensive systems that we never considered." Reed leaned forward, his silvery face reflecting the lab's harsh lighting. "Explain." "Our entire defensive doctrine is built around energy dispersion," Peter continued, pulling up more detailed scans. "Every piece of our technology, from personal shields to starship armor, is designed to absorb or deflect energy attacks. But these projectile weapons don't try to overpower our defenses. They simply ignore them." Dr. Brown and General Thompson had been invited to observe the analysis. They stood quietly in the corner, watching the council members come to terms with their discovery. Brown's tablet continued recording everything, while Thompson maintained a carefully neutral expression. "Show them the ammunition variations," Thompson suggested quietly. The human team opened a case containing various types of ammunition. Dr. Brown picked up several rounds, holding them up for the council scientists to see. "Standard ball ammunition, armor-piercing, hollow-point, incendiary, and several other specialized types," she explained, "each designed for specific purposes and situations." Peter scanned each round, his instruments revealing their internal structures. "Fascinating. The simplicity is elegant. No power sources to fail, no complex mechanisms to malfunction, just applied physics and chemistry. But surely our advanced materials can be adapted?" Reed asked, a note of desperation in his voice. Peter shook his head. "We'd need to completely redesign our defensive systems. Energy shields don't stop physical objects. They never needed to before. Our armor is optimized for energy dispersion, not kinetic impact resistance." Thompson stepped forward, picking up a piece of the damaged armor. "Your materials are incredibly advanced, but you designed them to solve a different problem. It's like building the perfect umbrella and then being surprised when it doesn't stop a rock." The council members gathered around a large display showing the simulation of a bullet impact. They watched in silence as the projectile tore through their most advanced defenses with brutal efficiency. "There's more," Peter added reluctantly. "The humans' weapons have other advantages we hadn't considered. They're completely immune to energy-dampening fields. They can't be hacked or electronically jammed. They're effectively invisible to our energy-based detection systems." Dr. Brown spoke up. "We've had centuries to perfect these weapons. Every possible flaw or weakness has been addressed through countless conflicts and improvements." "And the railgun demonstration?" Reed asked quietly. Peter pulled up that data, showing the catastrophic damage caused by the hypervelocity projectile. "Their advancement of basic projectile principles with modern technology is remarkable. The kinetic energy involved exceeds anything our defenses were designed to handle." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just shown their weapons were viable. They'd revealed a critical vulnerability in the Council's entire military doctrine. We need to rethink everything, Reed finally admitted. Our assumptions about weapons technology, our defensive strategies, our combat tactics. Thompson nodded sympathetically. Sometimes the oldest solutions are still the best ones. We'd be happy to share our expertise. And perhaps, Dr. Brown added, we could learn from your energy weapon technology as well. Imagine combining the reliability of projectile weapons with your power generation and targeting systems. Before anyone could respond, an urgent message flashed across the lab's main screen. Reed's face darkened as he read it. It seems we may need your expertise sooner than expected, he said grimly. We've just received reports of pirate attacks on our outer colonies, and according to these readings, they're using projectile weapons. The humans and council members exchanged worried glances. Their theoretical discussions about weapons technology were about to become very practical indeed. Emergency alarms blared through the council station, their haunting tone echoing off the metallic walls. In the command center, Reed stood before a massive holographic display showing multiple distress signals from the outer colony of Alpha Prime. Third attack this week, he reported grimly. The pirates have somehow acquired projectile weapon technology. Our colonial defenders are. He paused, struggling with the words, completely ineffective against them. The display showed security footage from the latest attack. Pirates in salvaged armor walked straight through energy barriers, their bullets ignoring the colony's most advanced defenses. Council security forces fired back with plasma weapons, but the pirates had copied enough shield technology to defend against energy attacks. General Thompson studied the footage intently. Those are modified Council armor suits. They've kept the energy shielding but added crude ballistic plates. Primitive, but effective. How many casualties? Dr. Brown asked quietly. Too many, Reed answered. Our colonists are defenseless. Their shields are useless, and they have no experience fighting against physical projectiles. He turned to Thompson. We need your help. Thompson nodded grimly. I can have a rapid response team ready in 2 hours. But we'll need full authority to handle this our way. Granted, Reed said without hesitation. Whatever you need. The next few hours were a blur of activity. A human special forces team arrived, their weapons and equipment looking starkly utilitarian next to the Council's sleek technology. The team's leader, Captain Wilson, immediately began reviewing tactical data. They're hitting isolated settlements, Wilson observed, using the stolen shields to protect against orbital defenses, then landing and attacking with ballistic weapons. Classic raid and run tactics. Can you stop them? Reed asked. Wilson shared a look with Thompson. Oh yes, they may have copied some of our weapons, but they don't understand how to use them properly. They're about to learn the hard way that there's more to human combat tactics than just pulling a trigger. The human response team deployed to Alpha Prime aboard a Council fast transport. As they approached the colony, sensors detected another pirate raid in progress. Perfect timing, Wilson commented, checking his rifle. Let's show them how Earth does business. The pirates had grown confident, believing their stolen technology made them invincible. They never expected to face opponents who had centuries of experience with projectile combat. The human team moved like ghosts through the colony's streets, using cover and tactics that the energy weapon-focused pirates had never encountered. Contact front, a team member called out. Pirates appeared ahead, firing wildly with their stolen weapons. Their shots showed their inexperience, spray and pray, with no understanding of proper fire discipline. The humans' response was devastating. Precise shots found gaps in the pirates' improvised armor. Specialized ammunition defeated their shields. Years of training and experience showed in every movement, every shot. They're falling back, someone reported. Not this time, Wilson replied. Push forward. Don't let them reach their ships. In the Council Command Center, Reed and his staff watched in amazement as the human team systematically destroyed the pirate force. Their efficiency was terrifying and impressive in equal measure. Notice how they work together, Thompson explained. Covering fire, flanking maneuvers, Proper use of terrain. The pirates may have stolen our weapons technology, but they don't have our training or experience. Within an hour, it was over. The pirate force was neutralized, with minimal civilian casualties and limited property damage. The human team had made it look easy. Wilson's report was brief and professional. Area secured. 28 pirates neutralized, 6 captured for questioning. 2 minor injuries on our side, already treated. Reed slumped in his chair, relief evident on his face. You've saved many lives today. But this incident raises serious concerns about our security. We can help with that too, Thompson offered. Joint training programs, defensive upgrades, proper tactical doctrine for dealing with projectile weapons. Yes, Reed agreed quickly. Yes to all of it. The Council was wrong about human military technology, and we need to adapt quickly before more pirates realize our weaknesses. The crisis was over, but its implications would echo through the galaxy. The Council had learned a harsh lesson about the effectiveness of human warfare, and things would never be quite the same again. The pirate mothership loomed in orbit above Alpha Prime, it tall a patchwork of stolen Council technology. After the ground raid's failure, the pirate commander had decided to commit his entire force to one massive assault. Dozens of smaller craft swarmed around the massive vessel, their weapons charged. In the colony's defense center, Captain Wilson studied tactical displays with Reed and Thompson. They're desperate now, Wilson observed, which makes them dangerous. Our orbital defenses are still offline from their last attack, Reed reported grimly, and their shields will protect them from our energy weapons. Thompson smiled slightly. Good thing we brought something special then. He activated his comm link. Dr. Brown, is the package ready? Just finished installing it. Brown's voice crackled back. The Council's defense satellite has been modified. The modification was a massive coil gun, built using human principles but enhanced with Council power systems. It looked oddly primitive attached to the sleek alien satellite, but its effectiveness would soon be proven. Incoming, an operator shouted. The pirate fleet had begun its attack run. The battle that followed would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for years to come. The pirates, confident in their stolen shields, flew straight into the defending forces. Their first indication that something was wrong came when the coil gun fired. A hypersonic projectile, accelerated by Council power systems to unprecedented speeds, tore through the lead ship shields like they didn't exist. The vessel exploded spectacularly, debris scattering across space. Target their engines and weapon systems, Wilson commanded. Let's show them what combined arms warfare really means. Human-designed kinetic weapons, powered by Council technology, wreaked havoc on the pirate fleet. Their shields, designed to stop energy weapons, provided no protection against the physical impacts. At the same time, conventional Council energy weapons struck any ships that diverted power from shields to engines. In the command center, Reed watched in amazement. The coordination between kinetic and energy weapons. It's beautiful in its way. Basic tactics, Thompson explained. Force the enemy to defend against multiple types of attacks simultaneously. They can't maintain shields against both. The pirate mothership launched fighters in desperation. They were met by Council interceptors now armed with human-designed space combat weapons. The resulting dogfight was brutally short. Their formations are breaking, Wilson reported. They've never faced anything like this. Look, they keep trying to adjust their shields, but they can't defend against both types of weapons at once. The coil gun fired again, the round punching through the mothership's engine section. Secondary explosions rippled along its hull as power systems overloaded. Escape pods began launching as the crew abandoned ship. Should we target the pods? A Council gunner asked. Negative, Wilson commanded. Let them run. They'll spread the word about what happened here. Best deterrent we could ask for. The remaining pirate ships fled in disorder, many damaged beyond repair. The battle had lasted less than 30 minutes, but its impact would be felt for years to come. In the aftermath, Council cleanup crews worked alongside human technicians, collecting debris for analysis. Dr. Brown supervised the recovery of particularly interesting pieces of wreckage. The combination of our technologies exceeded all expectations, she reported excitedly. The Coilvin's performance was nearly double what we projected, and the targeting systems integration worked perfectly. Reed nodded thoughtfully. We've relied solely on energy weapons for so long, we forgot the basic principles of combat. Sometimes the simple solution is the most effective. Nothing simple about it, Thompson corrected. This victory came from combining our different approaches, human tactical doctrine and kinetic weapons, enhanced by Council power systems and targeting technology. Wilson's team was already analyzing the battle data, identifying ways to improve their performance even further. The pirates adapted to Council weapons and tactics, he noted. But they had no answer for this combination. No one in the galaxy will. As the adrenaline of battle faded, the full implications of what they'd accomplished began to sink in. This wasn't just a victory over pirates. It was proof that human and Council military technology could work together in ways neither side had imagined. We need to formalize this partnership, Reed declared. Full integration of our military technologies and tactics. Thompson smiled. I think we can arrange that. 1 month after the Battle of Alpha Prime, the Grand Council chamber on Earth was packed with representatives from both human and alien civilizations. The massive room, a blend of human and Council architecture, symbolized the new era of cooperation between the species. High Commander Reed stood at the podium, his silvery form contrasting with the rich wooden platform built by human craftsmen. Before him, the assembled delegates waited expectantly for his address. 3 months ago, I stood in this chamber and dismissed human military technology as primitive, Reed began, his voice carrying clear regret. Today, I stand here to formally acknowledge how wrong we were. General Thompson and Dr. Brown sat in the front row, their dress uniforms decorated with new medals, both human and Council designs. Behind them, Captain Wilson and his team represented the warriors who had proven humanity's worth in combat. The Battle of Alpha Prime wasn't just a victory over pirates. Reed continued. It was a watershed moment in galactic military doctrine. The combination of human and Council technology has created something entirely new. Holographic displays activated around the chamber, showing the new weapon designs being produced in joint facilities. Sleek Council aesthetics merged with practical human engineering. Energy weapons with physical ammunition backup systems. Armor that could stop both kinetic and energy attacks. Our first joint production facilities are already operational, Dr. Brown reported, stepping up to the podium. The new Mark I combined arms rifle is in full production. It can switch between energy and kinetic ammunition, with Council power systems and human reliability. The chamber erupted in excited murmurs as the specifications were displayed. Even the most skeptical Council members had to admit the results were impressive. But hardware is only part of the equation, Thompson added, joining them at the podium. We've established the first Joint Combat Academy on Mars. Human instructors are teaching physical combat tactics, while Council experts share their technical expertise. Reed nodded approvingly. The pirates taught us a harsh lesson about the dangers of technological stagnation. By focusing solely on energy weapons, we became vulnerable to simpler but equally effective technologies. The displays showed training footage from the new academy. Human and Council troops training side by side, learning from each other's strengths. The combination of human tactical experience and Council technical knowledge was creating a new generation of warriors. Our defensive doctrine has been completely revised, Reed announced. All Council installations are being upgraded with combined defense systems, energy shields complemented by physical armor, multiple layers of security, leaving no single point of vulnerability. The pirates have gone silent, Wilson reported from his seat. Word of their defeat spread quickly. No one wants to face our combined forces now. The chamber's mood was celebratory, but Thompson raised a cautionary note. We must remember that this partnership goes both ways. Humans have much to learn from Council technology, just as they had lessons to learn from us. Agreed, Reed said firmly, which is why today I'm proud to announce the formation of the Joint Defense Initiative. Equal partnership, shared technology, combined training and development programs. The announcement was met with thunderous applause. Centuries of Council military doctrine had been overturned, but what replaced it was stronger than ever. The galaxy is changing, Reed concluded. The old divisions between advanced and primitive technology mean nothing. What matters is effectiveness, reliability, and the wisdom to use the right tool for each task. As the ceremony concluded, Thompson and Reed stood together, watching the delegates mingle and discuss the future. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" Reed asked quietly. Thompson chuckled. "When you first laughed at our primitive guns." "No, can't say that I did." "The Council was arrogant," Reed admitted. "We forgot that advancement doesn't always mean complexity. And we learned that tradition shouldn't blind us to new possibilities," Thompson replied. "Together, we're stronger than either of us was alone." Outside the chamber, the first graduates of the Joint Combat Academy stood guard, their new combined arms weapons representing the perfect fusion of human and Council technology. They were the first of a new generation of warriors, trained in both the simplest and most advanced forms of combat. The galaxy would never again underestimate the effectiveness of any technology, no matter how simple it might appear. The laughter had stopped, replaced by respect, understanding, and true partnership.